I've got to be honest with you and say I have enjoyed the week. Obviously, now's the proof of the pudding, and I'll let you know later on whether or not we enjoy the whole week.
How are the players? I mean, how have they reacted to Jim Duffy's sacking?
Well, the early part of the week was a bit difficult, and they were down, and it was quite sad to be honest with you. But in fairness to them, like good professionals, they've lifted themselves up. They've been perky, they've been alive, they've been responsive in training. I've been delighted with the reaction I've got from them. So we'll see what happens next.
This is the team that Billy McNeill has picked, and the club's football development chief won't complain if it's his last selection either. The caretaker manager has made 2 alterations after last Saturday's 6-2 collapse at Motherwell, which meant the sacking of Jim Duffy. Goalkeeper Chris Reid is dropped, and back comes Icelander Ollie Gutskauksson. And there's a welcome return at the heart of the defence for 23-year-old Graham Donald. Capped at under-21 level, he's been plagued by injury for the last year, but Darren Dodds and Brian Welsh are both suspended, and that gives Donald his chance. Alec Miller has made just 1 change to the Aberdeen team, which started Monday night 3-1 defeat at Celtic Park. Joe Miller gets a recall, and David Rowson is demoted to the bench, where he'll sit alongside last season's leading scorers Billy Dodds and Dean Windus. Miller sticks with the Jess Newell partnership up front. It could be a farewell appearance for Stephen Glass if Aberdeen and Newcastle can settle on compensation. He's already signed a pre-contract agreement for Kenny Dalglish. If the 2 clubs can't agree, he'll stay at Pittodrie till the end of the season. The referee at Pittodrie is Mike McCurry. Hibs start the match. They've won only 1 of their last 19 games, and they haven't won away from home in the league for 13 months. Those are sorry statistics, and how Billy McNeill would like to put that right this afternoon. One of his old stamping grounds, Pittodrie. Off the top of Brian O'Neill's head, Barry Lavetti controlled it. Derek White finds Michael O'Neill, and he's got some room. Joe Miller's outside him. Ian Jess looking for it infield. Played through the legs of Boko. It's a good run this by Gary Smith. Joe Miller's header. And safely pouched by Gutskauksson. But that was a fast break down the right-hand side. Gary Smith showing plenty of pace. He was set up by Joe Miller, and then Miller raced into the middle for the return. And his downward header saved by the keeper. Ingles, that's a dangerous one. It was almost read by Crawford. Good play from Derek White. That pass from Ingles, trifle fortunate, finding its way through to Newell. O'Neill to Glass. Stephen Glass. What a shot! Ollie Gutskauksson knew little about that, as that Glass shot simply cannoned back off the crossbar. 8 minutes gone, and Aberdeen so close to taking the lead. We know all about the left foot of Stephen Glass, but this is what you can do with the right. Kick taken short, Glass, Miller, and then Gary Smith. Dallied a bit long, and Pat McGinley stepped in. Jimmy Boko missed that. John Ingles settling for a corner kick. Taken quickly, they're alive to possibilities. In from Brian O'Neill, tugged it wide. Dennis finds Harper. McGinley. That's for Crawford. It's a good pass. Here's Kevin Harper. And well won by Derek White. Miller leaves it to Michael O'Neill. Stephen Glass delayed too long. Here's Chris Jackson. There are definite signs of growing confidence in this Aberdeen team. Good pass that for Joe Miller. Miller against Donald. Good scroll from Joe Miller, which took him away from Willie Miller. Onto the right foot. Good play, did it all himself, Joe Miller. All that was lacking was a shot on target. This is Joe Miller at his best, very elusive. Away from Willie Miller and cutting inside, the ball possibly bobbling at a vital moment. Sean Dennis looking for Lavetti. Won though by John Ingalls. Here's Barry Lavetti. He's away from Ingalls this time. And firmly struck from 25 yards. Although good positioning to deal with the Lavetti shot by Jim Leighton. Injection of pace from Kiriakov. In from Glass. Here's Mike Newell. Decent turn, but unable to keep the shot down. 6 goals this season for Mike Newell, but he hasn't scored for 4 months. And how he would love to get back on track. Up and under from Pat McGinley. Good play from Brian O'Neill. The bouncing ball taken away from Stephen Glass by Pat McGinley. Ian Jess winning it back. Receives the pass from Michael O'Neill. Now Joe Miller. Mike Newell has peeled away in the centre, looking for a cross. In from Smith. Almost falling for Newell. The first run made by Michael O'Neill at the near post. It was played in by Smith. O'Neill couldn't get there, Newell nearly did. The flick from Harper, but no great pressure on Derek White. Sean Dennis trying to direct that header back towards Skalkson. Good efforts from Stephen Glass. He's been the real threat to Hibs in this first half. And touched around the post by Ollie Skalkson. Cutting infield from the throw-in and a dipping right foot shot. Jess and Miller combining. Ian Jess. A fierce shot. Beaten away by the goalkeeper. And Derek White was looking menacing at the rebound. That was a good exchange between Joe Miller and Ian Jess, and a fierce attempt at goal. In from Glass. Knocked down by Joe Miller. Mike Newell. And it was John Ingalls who shot wide of goal. But Aberdeen beginning to bring to bear some concerted pressure. It was always struggling to get this away. It was Newell who fed Ingalls, and the shot wide. Alec Miller will be happy with the pressure being put on his old team, but he'll want to see a goal going in before too much longer. Ingalls to Michael O'Neill. Not being given much peace by Pat McGinley. Lavetti away from Derek White. Good covering by Kiriakov. That's great play from the Bulgarian. White to Glass, and now Brian O'Neill. Michael O'Neill. It's for Jess. Chris Jackson was snapping at his heels. Stevie Crawford. The tackle from Michael O'Neill was enough to put off Stevie Crawford, and free kick belatedly given for the challenge. Hibs haven't had much first half pressure, but things could quickly change if they make something of this. Forward from Madison. But it's too high for Sean Dennis, and John Ingalls just let that pass harmlessly through. The head flick from Newell. But Scoxon panicking into a clearance outside his area when all he really had to do there was let that run into the box. Good run from Stephen Glass. Here's Mike Newell, takes a deflection, and Aberdeen are in front. Just 5 minutes from the interval. They've threatened a few times, they've piled on a fair bit of pressure, and finally Aberdeen have the breakthrough. Almost inevitable that the threat would stem from Stephen Glass. An early ball in, controlled by Newell, and the deflected shots beating Gutskalkson. Mike Newell's 7th goal of the season, but that's his first since September at Ibrox. That will be pleasing for the manager. He really wanted a goal before half-time. Kiriakov finds Jess. That's good vision from Jess. He spotted the Michael O'Neill run. Now Joe Miller. Newell may well be the target here. Not found by the cross though. Allison's pass, a loose one, straight at Gary Smith. And Smith gets it back from Jess. That's for Newell. Good defending by Donald. Newell again, onto the right foot, good effort. Saved by Gutskalkson, well positioned, and held on to it as well. Mike Newell, who's had a tough time in the last few months, but growing in confidence now. Away from Miller. Derek White took too long and was fortunate that came back to him from Lavetti. Now Mike Newell. Sean Dennis sticking to it. Joe Miller trying to get away from Boko, trying to get to that byline. Combination of both McGinley and Boko sliding into the challenge and conceding the corner kick, but averting the immediate threat of a cutback here from Miller. In from Glass, the hit flip from John Ingalls. Now Jess on the left foot. Couldn't put much power behind it. Jess gets it back from Kiriakov, right foot this time. And slicing well wide. But Ian Jess looking more like his old self. And a chance of a place in the Scotland squad in France in the summer, if he can continue his recent progress. Boko back for Dennis. And that's the half-time whistle. And Aberdeen have the half-time lead. It's been a confident showing from them. An early effort from Stephen Glass, which rattled against the crossbar. But the only goal of the half coming from Mike Newell on 40 minutes. A good turn and a good shot, but it took a deflection on its way past Gutskalkson, and that's maybe the way things are going for Hibs, who look as if they're unlikely to improve on their recent away record. Half-time at Pittodrie. Aberdeen 1, Hibs 0. Aberdeen restart. This is a real basement battle in the Premier Division. The bottom two sides, and Aberdeen know that if they can win here today, They would stretch their advantage over Hibs to 7 points. That could be highly significant at this stage. Now Kiriakov. Good play from Newell, linking well with Stephen Glass. Attempting cross at the far post, in comes Joe Miller. It was left by Boko. Back from O'Neill to Smith. Miller again. In from Smith, and it came off Graham Donald for the first corner kick of the second half. This could have been dangerous defending from a Hibs point of view. Again, it's good play from Glass. A good ball in, and Boko was left flat-footed by Miller. Glass with the corner kick, well flicked on. It was Mike Newell's shot. Half-hearted appeals for handball. It was flicked on at the near post by Derek White. First time effort, and it came off the chest of Graham Donald. Good turn from Newell. Took a touch off Larison. Keeping possession. He was being pressurised by both Kiriakov and Glass. Willie Miller's free kick. Lavetti beaten by Ingles, but John Ingles is still grounded. He's in trouble, and Mike Newell is away from Willie Miller. He might have to do this all on his own. Turned that across goal, hoping Ian Jess would be there. It evaded everyone. A real turn of pace from the 33-year-old Mike Newell. He showed Willie Miller a clean pair of heels here, and he was always looking for Jess in the middle with his cutback. Michael O'Neill finds Ian Jess. First time from Willie Miller. Larison for Lavetti. It was read well by Kiriakov, and he gets a free kick as well. Barry Lavetti had a fistful of his shirt. Derek White's free kick, it skimmed off the top of Sean Dennis's head, and Ian Jess makes it too. That's just what Hibs didn't want. And that slip in defence, punished by Jess. A 7th goal of the season for Jess. And important for him is that he draws himself again to the attention of Craig Brown. With that World Cup selection about to be made, good finish this. This was the moment, misjudgment by Dennis. Chris Jackson had no chance, nor had the goalkeeper. Kiriakov to Newell, holding off the challenge of Graham Donald, and linking up with Gary Smith. Good foraging run that by Smith. The tackle was from McGinley. Boko rolls it for Harper. And a throw in. An uphill struggle now for Billy McNeil and Hibs. Again, tight control from Jess. O'Neill for Newell. Michael O'Neill through for Joe Miller. Could it be three? It is now. Two goals in a couple of minutes for Aberdeen, and the happy face of Joe Miller greets goal number 3 of the game. Lifted it over Gutskallton and tucked it away at the second attempt. But Hibs will be alarmed that Joe Miller evaded his marker, Jimmy Boko, there. 3-0. Dennis looking for Lavetti. Away from Kiriakov. Controlled by Michael O'Neill. And Glass works it in the direction of Brian O'Neill. Good movement from Aberdeen, good running off the ball. And Stephen Glass forcing Sean Dennis to concede a corner kick. Jess to Miller. Joe Miller's away from Barry Lavetti. The cutback took a deflection. Here's Brian O'Neill. Couldn't control it at the vital moment. And away for Hibs comes Chris Jackson. Given away again by Hibs. Offside. This was good play from Joe Miller, getting himself away from both Willie Miller and Barry Lavetti. The cutback was dangerous, but Brian O'Neill just couldn't quite get the ball under control there. Kiriakov doing well under pressure. By Pat McGinley on Brian O'Neill. Brian O'Neill just prodded the ball away as Pat McGinley moved in. Off for Aberdeen is going Michael O'Neill, and his replacement is David Rowson, who scored against Celtic on Monday night. Good ball from Derek White for Mike Newell. Looking for support. Finds it in Brian O'Neill. Kiriakov eased off the ball by Lavetti and won back by Mike Newell. Kiriakov for Miller, did well. It's a good run this by Joe Miller. Here's Brian O'Neill. What a chance that was for number 4. Kiriakov to Newell, and that one well off target. But that was a real chance for Aberdeen to knock in their 4th goal of the afternoon. Good play from Joe Miller, direct stuff from him, and the ball broke for Brian O'Neill, and he really should have taken this chance. Flicked on by Jess for Dodds, and Jess was then taken out. Kiriakov, he's got past Charnley. Rowson gets it back from Ian Jess. He's away from Sean Dennis. Good play this. Gary Smith locks it in. It's away from Donalds. Stephen Glass was the target. Jess, Billy Dodds, unable to keep himself onside. Well built up by Aberdeen, Rowson and Jess involved. Rowson got himself away from Dennis, then brought Gary Smith into the play. And this was aimed for Glass. Won by White. Good tackle that by Willie Miller. Barry Lavetti. Can Hibs get some consolation? That was an important intervention by Derek White. Quality touch from Ian Jess. Stephen Glass gets it back from Windus. Here's Dean Windus again. Good dummy, well left. Rowson, Jess. Aberdeen toying with Hibs. Flicked on by Windus for Billy Dodds. That was well defended. Billy Dodds looked as if he might add to the Aberdeen haul. Good set-up play this. The most delicate of touches from Windus. Billy Dodds couldn't quite get there. In from Ian Jess. Barry Lavetti got there ahead of John Ingalls. Now Glass. Stevie Crawford back doing some defending. And the sole figure up front for Hibs is Kevin Harper. John Ingalls' header dropping for Chick Charnley. That's for Crawford. Lets it drop over his shoulder. Good play from Crawford. But the covering work was being done by David Rowson. After Crawford had eluded both Miller and Smith, Rowson was there. David Rowson gets it back from Billy Dodds. The two subs combining. The pass behind Ian Jess. That took some of the momentum out of this attack. Windus and Joe Miller. Windus again. And that's the last action of the match. And a comfortable win for Aberdeen. Their recovery under Alec Miller continues. Second half goals for Aberdeen from Ian Jess and from Joe Miller, completing their victory, and they are looking a more confident side with each passing game. That's their fourth home win on the trot, but the problems for Hibs continue to pile up. Very few threats on goal from them this afternoon. A dispirited looking side, and how they must hope that they quickly appoint a new manager and they get their game back on track. Troubled times for Hibs. That's their last game for a fortnight. And Pittodrie, the final score. Aberdeen 3, Hibs 0.
I felt in certain patches of the game we played very well. Some good passing movements and some good goal chances created.
You had a fair few chances, you took 3 of them, but maybe the most satisfying thing for you is how solid you looked at the back.
Well, I think it's important that you start, when you lose the ball, you defend as a team, and I think we've tried to structure that in the training and also in the game situations, and it's definitely working.
You've stuck with Jess and Newell, you've given them a chance to go together, and they look as if they're developing a good understanding.
That's correct. I felt that Billy Dodds had just shaded a bit, and the rest. Dodds has had a hard time. He's been with Scotland away in the summer and very rarely got a rest, so we stuck with Mike and Ian, and they're doing well, and Billy's pushing them for a place again.
Do you know yet how much longer you'll have Stephen Glass here?
No, that's a situation that Newcastle are dealing with Stuart Milne, the chief exec, on financial terms.
Do you feel pangs of regret about Hibs' plight at the moment? They look looking a fairly dispirited team at the moment.
Yes, you do, because I'd spent 10 good years there and I don't want to see Hibs go down a division or go out the division. I think the important thing is that I worked with a lot of the players, and they've got to lift themselves. I mean, the manager can only do so much. I think they've got to get together as a group of lads and work harder. I know it's maybe difficult for me from an outsider to say, but I think they've got to pull together more.
Billy, that must have been grim viewing for you.
Yeah, it wasn't pleasant. You know, obviously the players had worked well during the week and I felt we had a good response from them, but the performance obviously wasn't good enough. We had hoped just to frustrate Aberdeen for long periods and maybe just turn the crowd that little bit against them. We almost succeeded to half-time, but I think once the first goal went in, the heads went down just a little bit, and when the second goal went in, then it was really all over by the shouting. One of the problems we've got is you've got players with a lack of confidence and they don't express themselves enough. They're maybe just a little bit reticent about giving off their best. I'm not saying they didn't try hard, but there was almost an acceptance that things were going to run against you. We give goals away too easily, and that's possibly why we're in this difficult position.
So all that you want to happen now, really, is to get a new manager in place and hope that that helps turn the corner.
Well, it's not impossible, obviously. I mean, it's difficult because every game is going to present an obstacle, but certainly the new manager has got a lot of work to do, but I think it's essential that the new manager comes in, lays down his own disciplines, his own ideas, and gets to grip with things as quickly as possible.
And you won't be too downhearted about giving up the reins?
No, I've got to say I have enjoyed the experience, you know, and in a perverse sort of way, you enjoy being at the game. I didn't enjoy the result nor the performance. I had hoped maybe to get a wee result here that would have helped the new person coming in, but that wasn't possible. So